A lack of accuracy and composure cost the Bulls dearly. My name's Mark, let's talk rugby. Bulls very dominant in the scrum early on in this, and they won a number of penalties. Northampton really struggling to cope with them in the set piece. They have another scrum outside the 22. They got penalty advantage. We play on, and Papier finds Williams on the wing, and he has to stroll over in the corner. Converted from out wide, but then we come back for a TMO check for a possible obstruction. Willie LaRue running a dummy line, adjudged to be offside. We then come back for that scrum penalty. Bulls kick it to the corner, look to spread it, but then they drop it and Hutchison snaps it up and then kicks a 50-22 to get Northampton on the front foot. They then, from there, make good ground initially through Hutchison and Dingwall, but Hanekom then gets over the ball and turns it over. I thought he had an excellent game for the Bulls. Bulls then look to break, but play is stopped because we have a bit of a melee off the ball. Referee Ramos tells them to put their handbags away so we can get on with things. Bulls then win a penalty, go up the line into 22. Van der Merwe plays a quick 1-2 at the front of the line out, stopped just short of the line. Forwards then have another couple of goes before they go to the backs. Houston almost collects a return pass to go over, but he drops it. Northampton then win a free kick for an early engagement at the scrum and kick it clear. Bulls just a bit too eager, to get in there. They were dominant in the scrum. They could have just waited, keep their powder dry and then go once the ball is in. So, again, lack of composure really for much of this game from them. There's a penalty then for holding on. It allows Northampton an entry into the 22. Finn Smith with a half break. They're looking to recycle it quickly, but then Kutsia gets over the ball to win a penalty for the Bulls. Defense on top, but you see both teams showing signs that they can be dangerous. They're just that one pass away, from making a telling break. Then Devin Williams, he collects Finn Smith's clearance kick and then kicks a lovely 50-22 off the side of the boot back. And Williams, early in the second half, he got his legs strapped and you could see he was kind of, don't know exactly what was wrong with him, but he was hobbling when he wasn't on the ball. But then there was times when he was sprinting as well. So, but certainly not at 100% for most of the game. Bulls move the ball and LaRue steps, but then gets isolated and allows Slide Home to turn the ball over for Northampton. Yet another Bulls penalty then at a scrum. Northampton get a warning for that. Then from there, LaRue with a lovely kick, and that leaves them just 10 metres out from the line after that penalty from the scrum. They set up them all. It's going forward. Van der Merwe goes over, but not before there was a whistle for obstruction. Another chance gone from them. Wilcolo and Van der Merwe then, with a 1-2 in midfield that I think the centres would have been proud of, almost got clear as well. But there was, I think, a hand from Pollock in there, just to make the pass, the final pass, a little bit harder. And, Bulls beginning to find some gaps, but again, not being able to finish things off. But they do have another scrum. They attack off the scrum. Ball goes to deck. Northampton turn it over, but then they cough it up almost immediately, and Bulls continue to attack. LaRue, crossfield kick from him, but it beats Devin Williams into touch. Again, if he had been 100%, maybe he would have got there. I'm not too sure about that though. Furbank then, he took a big hit in that move from Eric Lowe, and he is to go off injured. Hendy comes on for him. And then Bulls pinged at the breakdown, and Saints able to kick to the corner as they get upfield. And most of the game, especially the first half, was Saints soaking up tons and tons of pressure. Then they get a few chances, to go up the field. This is one of the ones that they got. They move off the top of the line out. Hutchison with a good carry, fixes the defence. Then Finn Smith offloads after tackle from Moody, and Hendy is over to score. Smith misses a very kickable conversion, 5-0, but Hampton are in the lead, very much against the run of the game. But if they can finish their moves off and the Bulls can't, it's not their fault. Bulls though hit back straight away. Good carry out wide from Lowe. They then go inside. Kotsia shrugs off the tackle of Dingwall, then avoids another attempted tackle, and he's under the post, converted for 7 points to 5. Then Iogan gets a yellow card for an infringement at the scrum just before half time. And Northampton just getting tons and tons of warnings in there, and eventually something had to give. Bulls make a mess though of the resulting line out after going up the line from the penalty. Northampton counter into the 22. They win a penalty. Mitchell goes quickly from that penalty and then puts Augustus over to score. Smith converts and it's 12-7 at halftime to Northampton. Like, Bulls just, architects of their own downfall, really, with the, so many mistakes and, giving away penalties and not being switched on at certain times as well. Into the second half then, LaRue with a clever kick in behind, but Freeman beats Williams to dot down the ball over the line. Williams, again, not sure whether he was at like full pace or not. He seemed to be running pretty quickly though. Bulls then managed to move it within 7 meters of the line, but Pollock gets over to win a penalty, and Northampton able to clear. Errors from the Bulls continue to hamper their attack in the second half as well. I'm sure they were told at halftime, try to cut out the errors, be a little more composed, but it just wasn't happening for them in this game. They then win a penalty after a good carry from Steenkamp, kick that to the corner. Saints do well to absorb the initial maul. Then Bulls go to one-out runners and pick and goes. Northampton's defence, though, was actually pushing them back away from the line. Houston then puts a kick over the top. LaRue and Moody both going for the ball. And I don't know whether they got in each other's way or what the story was, but we have a TMO check and they decide that it's actually knocked on in goal. Another try chance gone for them. And the kind of chances that you've seen Bulls taken so many times before. Back for the penalty, they go for a tap and go. Great defense again, and Klopper spills it forward in the tackle. Bulls win a penalty at that scrum, it was Northampton actually won a penalty, at that scrum. Bulls were overeager, and they actually let them clear. And again, another big let off. Like they were on top of the scrum in the first half. It was a bit more even in the second half, but again, giving away silly penalties just by pushing early and stuff like that. Houston then pinged at the breakdown. Finn Smith makes a 15-7 from the tee. And again, Bulls go from potentially scoring points up one end to conceding down the other end. And that was kind of the story of much of the game. Saints then go to the corner from penalty, move it off the line out. Freeman bounces the tackle to go over to score. It's converted 22-7, a pretty healthy lead for them. We do have a TMO check, though, to see if he lost control of the ball as he scored. But the TMO Ramos are happy that, even though he kind of lost the ball with his right hand, he still had his left hand on it and was able to ground it. I think it was a Bulls boot, kind of almost dislodged the ball. The try is good. But it's one of those ones, if you're a Bulls fan, I'm sure you're going to be looking at a million angles of it and maybe find one that makes it look like maybe he lost control of the ball. I think it's one of those tries that if your team score it, then you're absolutely sure that your team scored the try. And if you concede a try like that, you're absolutely sure that no way that was a try. It's just one of those ones that always creates debate. Bulls then produce a response from the restart. Northampton dropping the ball. Hanekom then goes off the back of the resulting scrum, brushes Ramos aside, who was kind of in his way there, but didn't obstruct any Northampton players, and he goes over under the post, converted for 22 points to 14. I was just thinking at the time that imagine if Ramos had a brought play back because he got in the way. Like Bulls just would have gone crazy, I think, at that stage. Bulls then surge forward again. LaRue run kind of across the defense. I thought he took a little bit of the space away from Hanekom by doing that, but he gives it to Hanekom, who draws in a couple of defenders, offloads to Clerk. Not the cleanest of offloads from him, but managed to pick it up from his laces, but then knocks on in a tackle as he was going over. Again, just that lack of accuracy. You felt like, a more sympathetic offload, and he definitely would have been in to score. Bulls then have penalty advantage from a scrum on the edge of 22. Hanekom picks it. Two Saints players seem to have kind of contained him and tackled him, but they haven't actually completed the tackle. He breaks away from them, and he's under the post, converted, and now it's a 1 point gain, 22 points to 21. And you feel like the momentum is with the Bulls, but you wonder again whether that accuracy is going to be there for them. Kane and Moody then with a good take from an up and under. Bulls pinged for going off their feet at the clear out. Bit of a scuffle after that before the kick can be taken. Bulls, I think, could feel a little aggrieved. Like the clear out didn't look that bad to me, honestly. Again, it's one of those ones where if you're cheering for one team, it definitely was, a penalty, and if you're cheering for your team, you probably think absolutely not. Smith lands the penalty from long range. It's on the angle as well. Really good kick from him. 25 points to 21. Then Northampton work it up the field again. Smith back into the pocket, but just completely makes a mess of his attempted drop goal. But, it's Northampton now who are looking to score points, and they attack off a scrum. They go inside first of all, and then before going back out wide to that space, and then a cut-out pass to Freeman. He's in space, and he goes over to score. Conversion is missed, but Smith, very smart, used up almost the entire shot clock there. It's 30 points to 21. There's only 2 minutes on the clock. Bulls can't produce another score, and that was the final score. So let's have a look at the stats. Let me pull them up here. Just give me a second to bring it up. I did have it already, and then I had to reboot my PC, which is never good. Right, let me see here. Yeah, but as I said, Bulls, just the lack of accuracy. You're going to see from the stats as well how dominant they were in terms of just possession and stuff like that. But if you can't actually turn that into points, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, 3 tries for the Bulls, 4 for Northampton. So bonus point win for them. Then kicking success 100% for the Bulls, 67 for Northampton. Then we look at attack. Meters made 641 for the Bulls to 354 for Northampton. You see that they were well, on top of that. 144 carries to 77. Clean breaks 11 to 7. Defenders beaten 35 to 17. So just over double for the Bulls. But again, they couldn't convert it into points in the end. Excuse me. Offloads then 18 to 12 in favor of the Bulls. Passes 176 to 70. Possession 61% to 39. And territory 69% to 31. So Bulls absolutely dominating the ball and in the right areas of the field as well. But again, just not being able to actually make it count and get those points on the board. Tackles made then 71 for the Bulls, 145 for Northampton. Both teams pretty poor on tackle success, 68% to 72. We expect a decent defensive performance to be somewhere up around kind of the 80% mark. Turnovers 1, then 6 for the Bulls, 9 for Northampton. Some really good turnovers for Northampton in dangerous areas, and couple that with the errors from the Bulls as well, and it just kind of, really helped them to make sure that the Bulls didn't score at crucial times. Lineouts then 12-1 to 14 for the Bulls, 92% for them and 88% for Northampton. No lineout steals. Scrums won then 9 for the Bulls, 7 for Northampton. Bulls 100% on their own ball. Northampton 78%, and most of the 22% was really in the first half when Bulls just were absolutely on top there. Kicks from hand then, just 10 from the Bulls, 19 from Northampton. Kicking meters 290 to 589. So Northampton, making a lot more meters with the boot compared to the Bulls. At the breakdown then, Rooks won 82 for the Bulls, just 32 for Northampton. Rooks lost 3-1, and Rooks success 93% each. Turnovers won at the Rooks and Mauls, 6 for the Bulls and 9 for Northampton. And Mauls didn't have a big impact on the game, but 3 Mauls to 1 for the Bulls. Only one of those was successful though for the Bulls, and Northampton not getting any success at all from their one either. And only 1 meter gained by the Bulls and 0 for Northampton. So it wasn't like a Maul heavy game. There's some penalties conceded then. 14 for the Bulls, 11 for Northampton. That 1 yellow card when they were really under pressure in the scrum in that first half. Okay, so those are our stats. So what about the teams themselves? Well, so let's start with home team. The Bulls had so much of the ball, and territory as well. Dominant in the scrum in the first half, but again, accuracy was missing. Left too many points out there, and if you do that, a decent team, and that's what Northampton are. They're going to punish you. That normally we expect the Bulls as well to be ruthless with things like this. We've seen them where in similar situations where they've gone 50, 60, even into 70 points against teams. I don't think they would have done that today against Northampton, but you could see, the amount of points that were there on offer for them. They absolutely could have gotten into the 40s in this game, but completely, ruthlessness again, completely deserted them today, and they just couldn't get themselves, couldn't get their composure back. And now they've let themselves a really hard route just even into the knockout stages at this point. And Northampton, under the cosh most of the game, especially in the first half. They did turn the scrum around though in the second half. Not that they were dominant themselves or anything, but they were far more solid in it. Weren't conceding as many penalties, and then that over eagerness from the Bulls to get a good hit as well. Was letting them get some penalties too on their own ball. They got to try bonus point and also denied the Bulls any points from the game as well. So probably went beyond their own expectations. Wildest expectations for this game. They'll be absolutely delighted with this, I think. And they're now going to be looking at possible home draws as far as they can through the knockout stages. So be looking to hopefully for them getting another win at least, and if they can get all 4 wins, obviously then potentially they have a home route all the way up to the semi-finals. But really good from them to be able to soak up the pressure, and then the accuracy that the Bulls lacked, they showed it in spades. They didn't have that many chances in the game, but they converted almost all of them as well. So brilliant performance from them. Bulls, there's a lot for them to improve on, and it's kind of strange because they had been going well in the URC, and they did have a couple of hiccups as well on the road, honestly, in the URC. But I thought, the game against Saracens would have been just kind of a blip, and we'd see them kind of back to themselves in this one. Now they've got to get themselves sorted for January. We know they threw really their quarterfinal last season. On this form, you can't even see them making the quarterfinals, honestly, this year around. But yeah, that's the end of this one. Let me know what you thought about the game down in the comments.